Hey guys, it's Jasper, and today I'm going to be reading from Early Irish Myths and Sagas. The story we're reading today is called The Labour Pains of the Ulaid and The Twins of Macha. For today's story, since it is an Irish myth, I thought it would be fitting to have some Irish whiskey, so I'll be having some Jameson. As always, pour yourself something yummy to drink, relax, enjoy, and cheers. The Labour Pains of the Ulaid and the Twins of Macha. Crunic, son of Egamon of the Ulaid, was a hospitaller with many lands. He lived in the wilderness and the mountains, and his sons lived with him. His wife was dead. One day, when he was alone in his house, he saw a woman coming towards him, and she seemed beautiful to him. She settled in at once and went to her tasks, just as if she had always been there, and when evening came, she set the household in order without being asked. That night, she slept with Crunic. She was with him a long time after that, and there was no prosperity that she did not bring him, no want of food or clothing or wealth. Not long afterwards, the Ulaid held a fair, and they all went, men and women, sons and daughters. Crunic sent out as well, with good clothes on him and a great bloom in his face. "Take care not to say anything foolish," she said to him. "Not likely," he replied. The fair was held, and at the end of the day the king's chariot was brought out onto the field, and his chariot and horses were victorious. The host said, "Nothing is as fast as these horses are." Crunic said, "My wife is as fast." He was taken to the king at once, and the news was taken to his wife. "A great misfortune, my having to go free him now, when I am with child," she said. "Misfortune or no," said the messenger, "he will die if you do not go." She went to the fair then, and her labor pains seized her. "Help me," she said to the hosts, "for a mother bore every one of you. Wait until my children are born." She failed to move them, however. "Well then," she continued, "the evil you will suffer will be greater, and it will affect Ulaid for a long time." "What is your name?" asked the king. "My name, and that of my children, will mark this fair ground forever. I am Macha, daughter of Sanith of Embath," she said. She raced against the chariot then, and as the chariot reached the end of the field, she gave birth in front of it. And she bore a son and a daughter, and that is why the place is called Imun and Mache. At her delivery, she screamed that any man who heard her would suffer the pains of birth for 5 days and 4 nights. All the Ulaid who were there were so afflicted, and their descendants suffered for 9 generations afterwards, 5 days and 4 nights, or 5 nights and 4 days. That was the extent of the labor pains of the Ulaid. And, for 9 generations, the Ulaid were as weak as women in labor. 3 classes of people, however, did not suffer this affliction. The women and the children of Cuchulainn. This was the inheritance of the Ulaid from the time of Crunic, son of Egamon, son of Ulaid, son of Hitash, son of Umare, until the time of Furc, son Dalan, son of Menach, son of Lugaid. I hope you guys enjoyed that story. You'll have to forgive me for butchering up the Irish names. I know that I should have researched into their pronunciation and practiced them, but I didn't, only because I was so excited to read you guys this story and talk a little bit about it with you. So if you can forgive me for my pronunciation, I'd love to talk about the story now. One of the things I love about this story is that it exemplifies something very unique about Celtic women again and again, is that when reading mythology, there's a pattern of violence against women, or women being put in positions of being put in lesser positions. And within the Celtic myth, there is a pattern of the women certainly being stronger, certainly being treated differently, but also there are stories just like this one, where you have heroines who act in the same way that Maka does, where you have a woman who is put in a position of weakness, who's put in a position, you know, lower down, and she's able to find a position of power from what she's been given. And I think that's really powerful and really wonderful, because you have this woman, and one, the way she comes into the household of Krunik, she comes into the household of Krunik, she just starts cleaning the house, doing the work, and sort of Snow White's it. You know how Snow White kind of comes into the cottage and just cleans things up, and then they're like, I guess you can live here. She does a similar thing, and she just assumes that role, and it's taken and it's accepted, and she just does it with confidence, and she, you know, gets into the position. But then when she has to come and defend her husband, she's forced to race the king's horses, and she is pregnant with twins, and like, obviously, I mean, because her labor starts, and she tells them, my labor started. She would be showing incredibly. Not only is she like about to give birth, but she's about to give birth to twins, so she would be really showing. But all of these men that are gathered here for the fair, and all the people that are gathered, they are like, no, no, we want to see you run. And the king is like, no, you gotta see me run. And her husband, her foolish, stupid husband, who she's told, don't say anything stupid, and he's like, oh, not likely, I wouldn't say something stupid. Me? No. You have all these people, the crowd, the king, and her foolish husband, who put her in this position of weakness, this position where she is like, one, in danger with her own body, about to give birth, and she has to race these horses. But of course, Maka, being of the Sidhe, the fairy folk, has supernatural abilities, and so she runs the race and then calls those three groups to be accountable, the crowd, her husband, and the king, to be accountable to the pains that she made her suffer. And the way that she calls it out, you know, and she says, I am Maka, you know, daughter of Saneth, son of Imbath, and, you know, my name and that of my children will forever be known, because that's what this place is going to be named after. So it's a neat story in the way that she is put in a position of weakness, but she's able to come out on top. And that's something that I love about the Celtic stories and the Celtic women, is that is a pattern you see again and again. They either are, you know, strong from the start, or they are given a position of equality above their men, or they take that equality. They don't allow themselves to suffer from being put down, but instead, like Maka, they make claim over their pain, and they cause others to be accountable to it. And the other thing that's just awesome about this story is, obviously, Maka is just awesome. I mean, like, she's incredible, because she has to come and be, you know, accountable to what her husband has said, that like, my wife can run faster than the king's horses. So she does this race. She makes a call out to the crowd and says, like, you know, have mercy on me. Wait till I've had my babies. All of you were born of women, which is like such a great line, and they don't listen. But she gives this opportunity, and then after she, you know, delivers the whole, I am Maka, and my children's names will be known on this land, because this is what this fairground is going to be called after. But then she runs the race and delivers the babies. So she like beats the horses, delivers the babies, and then as she's delivering the babies and she has her labor cries, with her labor cries she pronounces a curse, and this curse is over all of the men who were there, who heard her cry and did nothing to help her. And so she's just like really awesome, because it's not like she can't outrun the horses. She actually can. She's just like, please let me wait till I've had my babies. That would be the compassionate thing to do. She doesn't want to, you know, be the dog that does tricks, but she does it. And then she, you know, like I said, she, from that position that they put her in, she finds a position of power where she's at, and the curse is known you know, for the men, I think for 9 generations, it said, which is just crazy and wild. So I hope you guys have enjoyed reading that story. If there's any stories you'd like me to read, comment down below and let me know what those are. As always, I hope whatever you've been drinking has been good and that the story and conversation has been a good match. Cheers.